Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at the very stats of Kazuma, for we have them all. But before we're going to do so, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as thank all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. And with that said, let's start with the topic at hand. Now as for the source, we will just take the stats that are shown in his guild card at face value, but I should inform you that in contrast to Overlord, there was no character sheet in Konosuba's light novels detailing Kazuma's, Megumin's, Aqua's and Darkness complete character build, so the information is provided exclusively by the anime. But anyhow, let's take a look at what we know, thanks to the adventurer cards. And yes, you can actually read them, which is an awesome little detail. I find it remarkable that Konosuba actually gone out of its way to include these adventurer cards. Only 0% of the audience will actually take a second look at and fill them with genuine information. Now, first and foremost, we are going over the more trivial things. His name is obviously Kazuma Satoo, his gender is male, his age is 16, and his race is human. And this weird B figure you see is actually his level, which back then was still at 1. And the letter at the bottom right of this adventurer card is A, and actually depicts his class. And A stands for adventurer, just like AC doesn't stand for air conditioning unit, but for Arc Wizard, which is Megumin's class. And with that said, we are getting to the juicy bits, namely Kazuma's status values. Now the first value right here reads Strength, which confused the hell out of me, since normally hit points or similar health pool related stats are always at the top. But anyhow, his strength sits at 13, which is subpar. For comparison, at just level 6, 13-year-old Megumin had already 17 points in strength. And in the novels, Megumin and Kazuma actually talked about this huge difference in their physical attributes, since in the 4th novel, Kazuma had problems ascending to the top of the mountain where the hot springs of Arkan Rezia were located. This is also why he couldn't get rid of Megumin once she tried to desperately stay in his team, and noted that she had a surprisingly strong grip. But we know that her grip, especially at that time, where she was only at level 6, wasn't actually that strong compared to most people, but that Kazuma was just weaker than her. Next in line is Kazuma's health pool, which is just barely filled with 12 points, so he is weak, as in porcelain in human form weak. Again, even compared to Megumin, who again is a Arc Wizard, so not the class with the greatest health pool, had already 21 points in health. So Kazuma was not very durable, and it shows. Naturally, this combination of being weak and having low health meant he lost many physical fights and couldn't even stomach some environmental damage, like falling from a tree. And I venture to guess that if Darkness had fallen here and not Kazuma, the ground would have been more endangered than the life of La Latina. In addition to all of this, we have Kazuma's magic power, which stands at only 9 points in total, so his magic attack does very little damage. And of course, you could just point to the very obvious fact that Kazuma back then had not even learned beginner magic. While for example Yunyun could already cast intermediate magic and was able to do devastating damage to most enemies without problem. But spoiler alert, even once Kazuma had actually learned intermediate magic and could cast the infamous fireball spell, the Swiss Army knife of anyone with any magical aptitude, the spell turned out to be nothing more than just hot air, since his magic attack damage was so very low. And with that said, we are going to move on to dexterity, the stat which stands at 14 points. And again, it's not bad for a normal citizen, but for Kazuma, even at a higher level, this value, plus however much he gained by leveling up, was not enough to keep his balance, and less in the fall damage he had received from being knocked from the tree by the incoming lizard runner, and agility, which stands just 1 point above dexterity at a value of 15, isn't helping either. Now, these two values sound very similar, but I venture to guess that based on some things that happened later in the story, that one value manages the speed and nimbleness, and the other the reflexes of a given person, just like in Final Fantasy X, which would also explain why he wasn't able to dodge the lizard runner that knocked him down. And finally we get to the last value of this rundown, the stat value that defines Kazuma's entire life and governs the few good skills he would later acquire and frequently use, like steal or snipe. His luck is not in the low double digits, like it is the case for every other stat of his character sheet. It is not even in the lower triple digits, for his luck stands at 792. It is enormous. So just like the very story Konosuba parodies, which is Mushoku Tensei, where Rudius Gererat had an extraordinarily large amount of mana, Kazuma has an extremely high luck stat, with the twist being that luck isn't that useful if you want to be an adventurer. And this shows since during the cabbage catching quest he caught some extremely valuable vegetables with his steal skill, and the accuracy of his snipe skill directly scales with luck, which makes him a master marksman, whose aim is always true, and his steal skill, which also scales with luck, consequently allows him to take the most valuable possession of anyone at any time, unless of course they have way higher level than them, or the luck of the opponent is higher, which thus far only happened once. And so seamlessly that nobody even noticed that Kazuma failed to steal the thing that he most wanted and valued the most at this time. Now, you might heard about that Kazuma has a pretty decent intelligence stat, and while this is true, apparently judging by the 3 dots at the bottom of the card, it is lower down and not in the picture, since again you can scroll down on the adventurer card, which sadly hasn't happened here, so we don't know the exact number that governs his intelligence. And with that said, now it's your turn. What are your thoughts on Kazuma and his stats? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Other Daddy Other, ASK, Bad Guy Yi, Bad Burrito 316, Bizarre, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Kyone Karakos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.